The rancher, Daniel Carter, had spent his entire life under the wide Texas sky. At dawn, he rode out with his faithful border collie, Scout, to check fences and drive cattle. He was a man of simple rhythms: sunup, hard work, supper, and sleep. But one autumn morning, that rhythm was broken in a way he could never have imagined. The prairie air was crisp, carrying the faint scent of rain. Daniel dismounted to fix a sagging stretch of wire when Scout suddenly perked his ears, nose twitching. The dog bolted eastward, barking furiously, tugging at Daniel's sleeve as if demanding he follow. "Easy, boy," Daniel muttered, wiping his hands. But Scout wouldn't let up. He grabbed Daniel's jacket hem in his teeth and pulled with surprising force, his bark echoing over the empty land. Daniel, curious now, whistled for his horse to follow and let Scout lead. After a mile of walking through dry grass and mesquite, the dog stopped to rise. Below, half buried in weeds and rust, lay something Daniel hadn't seen in years: a hulking black steam locomotive. Its iron frame loomed like a sleeping giant, forgotten by time, its windows broken, its wheels sunken deep into the earth. "Now what in the world? A broken bar," Daniel whispered. Scout darted down the slope, paws clattering against the metal steps of the engine. He barked into the hollow belly of the locomotive, urging Daniel forward. With some hesitation, Daniel climbed up into the cab. The smell hit him first to dust, rust, and something faintly sweet, like old cedar. Sunlight streamed through the cracks, illuminating the controls that hadn't been touched in decades. He ran his hand across the levers, marveling at the ghost of history before him. Then Scout growled low, his nose pressed against a section of warped floorboards. Daniel crouched down. With a grunt, he pried open a loose planker and froze. Inside the hidden compartment lay a bundle wrapped in oilskin. Carefully, he lifted it out and unwrapped the layers. A metal box, ornate and locked, sat within. Its surface was engraved with strange markings, a half worn away but still legible enough to reveal initials: JWC. Daniel's hands trembled as he forced it open with his knife. Inside were stacks of yellowed papers, leather-bound ledgers, and a most startling gold coins glinting in the dim light. Merciful heavens, Daniel breathed. But the papers caught his attention more than the gold. He flipped through them, realizing they weren't ordinary ledgers. They were journals, maps, and signed deeds, a proof of land ownership stretching across thousands of acres, some of which bordered Daniel's own ranch. And then, at the bottom of the box, he found a letter sealed with wax. He cracked it open and read the faded ink: "To whoever finds this, I am Jonathan W. Carter, conductor and steward of the Carter Line. Betrayed and hunted, I have hidden both my fortune and the true record of my family's holdings here. If blood still carries my name, then may this restore what was stolen. If not, let it serve as justice against the men who tried to erase us." Daniel's breath caught. Carter, his own family name. He sat back hard on the metal floor. Could this be some distant ancestor? His father had spoken of a great-grand-uncle who vanished in the 1800s when the railroads changed hands. Folks said he disappeared in debt, but this told a different story. Scout wagged his tail as if sensing the magnitude of the discovery. Over the next hours, Daniel carried the box home, spreading its contents across his wooden kitchen table. He studied the maps, compared them with his own boundaries, and realized that much of the disputed land between his ranch and the greedy neighbor, Lowell Granger, had once belonged to his kin. The gold alone was enough to lift him from debt, but the paper, so if verified, could shift power in the entire county. Still, Daniel felt the weight of responsibility pressing on him. This wasn't just treasure, it was legacy. It was truth buried beneath lies for over a century. The next week, Daniel rode into town. He brought the journals to the Historical Society and the deeds to the courthouse. The officials were stunned, whispering over the authenticity of the documents. News spread quickly about the abandoned locomotive, the hidden fortune, and the rancher who had uncovered his family's past. Lowell Granger, red-faced with rage, tried to dispute it, but the evidence was undeniable. Daniel reclaimed not only lost acres but also respect for his family's name. One evening, sitting on his porch with Scout at his feet, Daniel stared at the horizon where the locomotive still rested in silence. He thought about Jonathan W. Carter, the man who had hidden his truth inside steel and shadows, waiting for a descendant to unearth it. "Guess you were watching over us all along," Daniel murmured. Scout thumped his tail, eyes bright, as though agreeing. From that day forward, the abandoned locomotive was no longer a forgotten relic. It became a monument visited by townsfolk, historians, and curious travelers. And Daniel Carter, the quiet rancher led by his loyal dog, lived knowing that sometimes the past doesn't stay buried. Sometimes it waits until the right hands come along to claim it. And so the dog's insistent tug that morning had changed everything, restoring not only land and fortune but a legacy long thought lost.